When we follow Jesus, we find out it is because he first found us. So look back at this text. He says, the next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. He found Philip and told him, "Follow me." But then look down just a few verses later in verse 45, when Philip is speaking to Nathanael, notice what he says. He says, "We have found." In other words, he's saying, I found Jesus. But what we find in this text is that the only reason that Philip finds Jesus is because Jesus found Philip. He finds us before we find him. Now, as a guest preacher, I'm supposed to tell you great things about my amazing family that will impress you so that you think I'm a great Christian that you will want to listen to. But instead, let me tell you about a dad fail. I was taking my 4 boys to an A&M baseball game down at Ole Miss, and we had traveled down there surrounded by a sea of red, and they had a playground out in left field, and my boys were out playing, and I was standing there keeping an eye on them and keeping an eye on the game, and it was a really important part of the game. And I got a little bit too focused on that and lost sight of my 3-year-old, and when I turned around a moment later, he was gone. And I began to scan the crowd. It shouldn't be hard to spot him, one of the few wearing maroon in a sea of red. And there he was. By the time I noticed him, he was already walked past home plate and was all the way up the first base line. And he was frantic. He was scared. He was lost. He was going with the crowd. He didn't know what to do. And so I went up to the closest security guard and I said, "I've lost my son. I could see him over there." And so he launched a rescue mission. And that security officer radioed one on the other side, and they walked him back all the way over. And when he got up to me in tears, he looked at me and he said, "Dad, I found you." Well, the only reason he found me was because a loving father found him first. And he sent a rescue mission to bring him back and to restore and to reconcile him to the family. When we are watching what plays out with Philip here, that's the picture that he gives us. Then when we follow Jesus, we find that it is because he first found us.